Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zara and today I am going to be giving you more political fantasy recommendations. I love political fantasy. It is my favourite subgenre of fantasy. It is just something that I love. I think when political fantasy is done well, some of my favourite books have a lot of politics in them. And I don't know what it is. I love the machinations, I love the backstabbing, I love people being smart and moving the chess pieces. I just love seeing lots of different threads moving at the same time. And because of that, a lot of what I read tends to be quite political. One of my videos recently, a commenter asked if I could do a video on political fantasy recommendations, so I thought I would do another video on that. I do have another one but that I will link down below, and I'm sure I will do another one in the future. So here are 5 political fantasy recommendations. Alright, so the first one that we have is A Song for Our Bond by Guy Gavriel Kay. This book is incredible, and it's incredible for many reasons, but I would say one of the main reasons why it's so incredible is because the politics is done absolutely flawlessly. Like with many of GGK's books, we are following multiple perspectives, often in multiple parts of the world, and we are seeing how all of those different threads over time come together by the end of the book and kind of reach the crescendo. It is so satisfying to read. We are also seeing different character types and how everybody is kind of vying for power. And I think with A Song for Our Bond in particular, this story is centering around 2 lords who are essentially working against each other. And it's not necessarily about those 2 people individually, it's about all of the other people that can get involved in this conflict as a result of the issues that they have between one another. It's so well done. It is I think 500-600 page book. It's a standalone, which is insane to me that Guy Gavriel Kay is able to hit it out of the park multiple times by creating these incredibly rich, beautiful worlds that have very high stakes. And like I said at the start, the politics is exquisitely done. Absolutely chef's kiss. This, without a doubt, is my favourite GGK book now. It's another recommendation that I would have is A Brightness Long Ago, which is also very political. But if I had to pick one, this is the one that takes first place for sure. But honestly, you can't really go wrong with any of GGK's books apart from Takana. Don't read that. All right. Next up, we have a book that I read recently, and depending on when this video goes out, I may or may not have my review up, so I will probably keep this one a little bit brief, and that is The Will of the Many by James Islington. This is the first book in a new series, and oh my gosh, I had so much fun reading this book. And again, I think a large part of that is because there's so much happening under the surface, happening with our characters. There is such a high stake for our main character and for the rest of the characters, and it's just so well done. Don't get me wrong, I do think parts of this book are quite cheesy, but I didn't hate it. I actually quite enjoyed it. I think it works with this type of story, and I think James Islington is very talented at writing different factions warring against each other. The interesting thing about this one as well, this is actually a single POV book, and even though it is a single POV book, I think he did a really good job of giving us an overview of all of the different players in the game without making it feel like he was info dumping every single chapter. Really good book. Can't wait for the next one. Strongly recommend. Next up, we have a book that I've talked about a lot on my channel, and this is a self-published fantasy book. It is a standalone, and that is A Quiet Vengeance by Tim Hardy. This is one of those books that when you're reading it, it's just addictive. And the reason why it's addictive is because you just don't really know what's happening. You know something is bubbling away under the surface, but you don't really know what, and you don't really find out until kind of towards the latter half of the book. It is very well written, and it's pretty high stakes. And it is a dual POV, so we are following 2 characters who are kind of on the opposing sides of this political situation. They're also very different types of people. One is like a prince, the other one is a pauper. I would say that it's kind of reinventing certain tropes that are quite common in fantasy, and it's done very well. Tim Hardy is very good at writing politics. His other series, the Eagle of the Brotherhood series, also has a lot of politics. That is quite a wide-spanning world. It's also not finished yet. But this one is very much a contained story, and it showcases everything that Tim Hardy is really good at just in one book, as opposed to like a 4 or 5 book series. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Go read it. Next up, we have a series that I personally didn't enjoy, but I will still recommend it because I think it is a very beloved series in the fantasy realm of things, and that is the Empire of the Wolf trilogy, with the first book being The Justice of Kings by Richard Swan. This is that sort of series that started off really well for me and then it just kind of declined over time. I'm not going to say more than that. If you want to find out more, watch my series review, which will either be up now or will be up in the coming weeks. But one thing that he does very well is the politics. This is quite a small world as we start off the series, but as the world expands, we do get a sense of all of the different players at hand and how all of these different players are battling against each other. Not necessarily physically, more intellectually, and again, that's the sort of stuff that I really enjoy. I think this is one of those series that you kind of just have to buckle in and let it take you where it takes you. The issue is whether you're going to like where it takes you, and I think that was the main issue for me, but a lot of people actually quite enjoyed it, and I do think it deserves some recognition for the fact that Richard Swan can write politics very well. Definitely go check out my review if it's up by now, but I think this is one of those series that I think it does certain things quite well and other things not quite so well, in my opinion. And then last but most certainly not least, we have The Stone Dance and the Chameleon series by Ricardo Pinto. This is one of those series that, again, you just kind of have to buckle in and you don't really know where it's going to take you, but where it does take you is pretty incredible. Very, very beautifully rich world. Lots of use of colour, which I talked about in my series review. And it's such a unique story. It's such a unique take on grimdark fantasy. It is very dark and I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to everyone for that reason, but if you do like grimdark, morally grey characters and a very dark world, a very dark setting, then I think this is one that you're going to really enjoy, because there is a lot of exploration around like slavery and inequality, and the world is also quite large, so we're getting a sense of the different players at hand as well. I think Pinto is just an absolutely phenomenally talented writer, and not enough people talk about this series or have read this series, which is criminal at this point. It is 7 books, but the books are really short and you can get through them in one sitting. That definitely happened for me for a few of the books that I read in that series. But it just does everything that it tries to do extraordinarily well, and I strongly recommend that you go pick it up if you like politics, because there's just so much happening, and again, a lot of that is under the surface and you don't really know where it's going. So there we have it. Those are some series and standalones that I recommend if you like political fantasy books. I will be doing another part on this at some point in the future. I did miss out some of the more kind of popular ones that I've mentioned before on my channel, like First Law, Long Price Quartet. Any of KJ Parker books tend to be quite political. I thought I would give some different suggestions today, but if you would like some more, don't hesitate to ping me and I will try to help where I can. Let me know if there's any political fantasy racks that you have down below, especially some hidden gems. I think we all know the very popular ones like Dandelion Dynasty, Game of Thrones, all of those ones. If there's some hidden gems that you have, that's always appreciated. Thanks for watching, folks. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up and I will see you in my next video. Stay safe, take care, and I will see you soon.